Welcome to Intuitive Flow. I'm your host, Mikaela Filar, intuitive energetic healer, medium, entrepreneur, and mindset mentor with a mission to help you step into your fullest potential by giving you the tools to rid yourself of limiting beliefs, love yourself unconditionally, and create the reality that you dream of living. It is time to transform your mindset, get unstuck, and step into the highest frequency version of yourself who has unshakable confidence. I am even answering your juiciest questions regarding all things intuition, manifestation, personal development, self-love, self-image, and helping you work through your dilemmas, intuitively guiding you to expand your mindset and level up in life. So turn up the volume and get excited for this intuitive flow. Hi, friends, and welcome back to Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I took a couple weeks off the podcast because, I took a couple weeks off of literally everything. Your girl has been feeling it the last 2 weeks. Actually, like this past week was okay, but the 2 weeks prior to that, no bueno. Okay. I just don't know what was in the air, but or what was going on in the moon and the stars. But I was basically felt like I was having a dark night of the soul all over again, just like a whole new awakening situation where I was struggling really bad with like self-doubt and thinking to myself, like, can I do this? Can I continue to do this? Is anybody listening? Am I actually helping people? Which I know that I am, and I know that you're listening, and I'm so grateful that you are here. I know that one of the major shifts that I had during this time of taking, a step back was just like realizing that it's not about going viral. It's not about how many people view your stories or your posts or how many people are following you. Like it's not about that. What I'm focused on is nurturing the people who are in my community right now. And not saying that I was ever like super crazy about like, oh, I need to go viral or I need to have a million followers on social media. Like, but I will say that like I have had the goal of having 10,000 followers on my Instagram for honestly a really long time. And there's probably a reason that I haven't hit it yet. And part of that reason is probably because I have it up on this pedestal, like making it mean something about myself. And I've had it on my vision board for like the last few years. I haven't really had it as like specific. So this is the first year that I was super specific with it. So I said, I am manifesting 10,000 or more followers on Instagram, where it was like before on my vision board, I am manifesting 10,000 or more followers, which across all platforms I have. So I hit that goal, but like I wanted it to be on Instagram. And I think for the longest time, I wanted that so bad because people who have a certain amount of followers get certain features on Instagram. Like for the longest time, if you didn't have 10,000 followers, you couldn't do the swipe up to connect a link. Anyways, this is besides the point, but I just had this realization that like I have helped so many people. I have touched more lives than I can even imagine just because it's not just about you who's listening to this podcast right now that I'm so unbelievably grateful for, but it's like whatever you learn from me, whether it's learning through my content, whether it's learning through this podcast, whether it's you've taken a course of mine or had a one-on-one session with me, or maybe even done mentorship with me, whatever it is, however I have helped you, I know that you have taken whatever you've learned and you've shared it with somebody else. And then who knows, maybe they shared it with someone else. And it's just this ripple effect of people that I've touched without even knowing that I've done that, And so I had this realization of like, it's not even about the amount of people who I have following me or not following me on my social media. It's about the people who are in my world right now that really fucking matter. And I've always loved you guys. I've always been so appreciative of you guys and the people who follow me right now and the amount of followers that I have right now. Of course, yes, like absolutely, it's never been a question in my mind. However, now I'm like taking the number off the pedestal. I'm not caring so much about if my posts go viral or whatever. I'm trusting that whoever does see them, right? Whoever does listen to the podcast, whoever does book a session with me or whatever, my stuff reaches the people who it's meant to reach. That is what I'm focused on. I'm focused on nurturing the people who are in my world right now. And so if you're in my world, I just want you to know I mean, obviously you are if you're listening to this podcast, but I just want you to know that I'm so freaking grateful for you, for being here, for supporting me on this entrepreneurial journey of mine. Just even being here, listening to this obviously helps so much. Leaving ratings and reviews helps my podcast grow so much and get into even more people's hands or ears. Even if you're just on my social media and you're liking or you're commenting or you're sharing it with a friend who needs a reminder of whatever it is that I posted, like all of these little things add up. And I am so grateful for each and every single one of you for being there for me. But I had, this realization came from me really having to take a step back and, I guess, having a moment with myself. Like, do I keep going? Like, am I actually making a difference? This is the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. Okay. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes I'm human. Well, all the time I'm human, but sometimes I get in my head, right? Sometimes I still struggle with anxiety. And it doesn't matter who you learn from, who your mentor is, or what you see on social media. You know that social media is a highlight reel. You know that everyone is human. We all have our ups and downs. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have moments of not feeling our best or feeling like we just want to throw in the towel. I will say that as much as I thought about just completely walking away, I actually thought about what would happen if I did that and what I would do. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't walk away, one, from what I've built, right? What I've taken the last 2 years to build and how I've helped and how many people I've helped. I can't do that to you guys. Like, you guys appreciate what I do so much. And I know that. And I cannot walk away from you guys. So that's not happening. But I was having a moment. Okay. I was having a moment where I felt like it just was too much. And maybe I just need to go back to like a normal 9 to 5. But like, let's be real, I would never go back to a normal 9 to 5. I'd probably like get a sales job or something. But I was just thinking about my life and the what ifs. Okay. There's this thing when you start your own business. I can either stay where I'm at right now, meaning if you're in a job and you're working for someone else, building someone else's dream, and you've got that steady income, you've got that normal routine job, and you like it. Maybe there's nothing wrong with it, but there's that little voice inside your head, right? There's that little fucking voice in your head that's like, well, I could start that business. I could help these people with that, or I would be pretty good at that, but that's a lot of fucking work. And it is. Starting your own business and putting yourself out there and then being let down, it's a lot of work. It's not always fun. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. And I'm not here to complain. I'm here to share, because if you've been where I've been, if you've been feeling the way that I've been, I have some tools that I'm going to share with you in a minute. These tools have helped me move through the last 2 weeks. And that's just the beauty of when I am going through kind of like not a good little moment, I guess you could say. That's when I have to really, even more so, embody the work that I teach, right? I have to do the things. I have to sit down and ask myself, like, what would I say to a client who's sitting in front of me feeling the way that I'm feeling? And then I do that. And I also have, intuitive besties that I lean on, that I ask, like, okay, like, what's, if my emotions are too involved, which if your emotions are too heightened in any situation, then guess what? Your intuition is going to not be as accurate as it could. So if you have like an intuitive bestie or somebody that you're training your intuition with, that you guys can kind of go back and forth. That way, when you do have those moments, you can lean on them. That would be amazing. But I digress. So when I'm having those moments, like I have to pull the tools out for myself. I have to take everything that I've learned and I have to apply it to my own life and my own shit. Because, like I said, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. No matter how much of a fucking highlight reel you see on social media, we all get in our head. And we've all had moments of, it would be easier if I just went and got a normal job. But the reality is, like, if I did that, I would most likely be fucking miserable. I would most likely be miserable. And I don't want to be miserable. I don't like being told what to do. I don't want to have to be somewhere for longer than like 4 hours max. Like that's a max, right? It just sounds terrible. I've done it and it is terrible. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but like it's just not for me anymore, especially after like working for myself for so long. So, anyways, let's get into these tools, okay? So the first thing I did was lay out the situation. Like, what was the situation? Let's journal about how I'm feeling. Let's get it all out in the open so that I can really sit and like see on paper what's going on, how I'm feeling, and then I can kind of pick and flip and see where the limiting beliefs are, debunk those limiting beliefs, and then figure out the reflection in what is happening. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know what reflections are. Reflections are little gifts from our higher self that show us where our energy is not in balance, or show us what is in our energy or what limiting beliefs are in our energy that can't come with us to this next level that we are desiring to go to. Okay. Like, well, my higher self really really went above and beyond the past 2 weeks because I feel like I've completely had like this quantum leap situation. I even went through my clothes and got rid of an entire big trash bag of clothes. And whenever I do that, I know that I've quantum leaped because I'm shedding all these layers, right? And I'm getting clear on the limiting beliefs and I'm seeing where my self-love is at and I'm seeing what the reflection is for what it is and what it's trying to show me and what it's trying to tell me. So, number one, if you've been going through it, if you've been feeling anything like I have, if maybe you're in a normal regular job and like you're having reflections, you're maybe going through some dark night of the soul moment and you're realizing some stuff about yourself as well, I want you to recognize the lesson in the triggers that are happening. So, if you are being triggered, if anything is making you feel any type of way, that's a trigger. And I want you to write it down and get clear on how, if it's a person, how are they making you feel? Where in your life are you doing that to yourself? Okay, so how are they making you feel, and where in your life are you doing that to yourself? Because everything outside of you, everything in your reality is a direct reflection of what's going on internally. So if somebody is pissing you off or triggering you in some way, they're just mirroring what's going on inside of you. And they're triggering you because you've got something inside of you that resonates with whatever it is that they're saying. If you aren't triggered by something that somebody says, then that means that you don't resonate with it. That means that like that part of you is healed and you don't give a fuck, right? It doesn't matter. I always use this analogy. If you were wearing, let's say you're wearing a red shirt right now, you're wearing a red shirt right now, let's just say. And I was to tell you that the black shirt that you have on is the ugliest black shirt I have ever seen, you wouldn't resonate with it. You wouldn't think anything of it. You would be like, I don't know what she's talking about because my shirt is red. Right? But if I was to tell you that your red shirt is the ugliest red shirt I've ever seen, you might get a little annoyed. Like, that's rude. Why would she say that about my red shirt? Like, I really like this shirt. I picked it up. Is there something wrong with it? What did I do? You would start to spiral. Okay. Because why? Because you resonate with it, because you actually have on a red shirt. If that was the situation, you were triggered by the situation, you would sit there and you would ask yourself, okay, how is the person who told me that my red shirt is ugly, how is she making me feel? Maybe I'm making you feel like you're not pretty enough or like you don't look good enough. Like it comes down to a self-image thing, right? Maybe I'm making you feel like I'm being really hard on you, or I'm being irrational, or I'm being mean. Then you're going to ask yourself, where in my life am I being mean or irrational or judgmental? Where am I being that way towards myself? So, this whole past couple of weeks, I've had the thing that sent me spiraling into self doubt, which I'm not really like ready to spill the beans on what exactly that was yet. It's actually here to teach me something, right? Growth isn't always comfortable, but it's always worth it. And these are times where you can ask yourself, like, am I going to just sweep this under the rug, or am I going to see the reflection for what it is, shift it, heal it? That way I don't have to deal with it later in life. Because what happens when you don't see the lesson for what it is? You just get it again in a different form, in a different way, in a different shape. And we don't want that to happen. We want to see it for what it is, and we want to work through it, and we want to get over it. Let's say it's a situation. The trigger is a situation that you're finding yourself in. You got to ask yourself, how is it helping me? What is it trying to show me? What lesson am I supposed to learn? The universal law of reflections is such a game changer. And when you understand it, you're able to step out of your victim mindset and step into your power, because you realize that you are in charge of your life, of your reality, and that everything is a direct reflection of what's going on inside. So if you can get a grip on the reflections, that's a huge fucking level up. And I actually have a course, a 4-week, it might be 5 weeks, a mini course on reflections where I dive deep into all things reflections. It's called Aligned AF. If you want to check that out, make sure I'll put it in the show notes below for you guys. But it's a great course, and it's all about the universal law of reflections and seeing reflections for what they are and all the things. So if you want to go check that out, check that out. Show notes below. Aligned AF. Number 2, I had my intuitive bestie look in on my self-love level, and my self-love level is like, or was at I don't know what it is at now, but it was at a 22% a couple weeks ago out of 100. Not cute, not cute. And what is the source definition of self-love? The ability to prioritize yourself and put yourself first. Okay. So I wasn't doing that. I wasn't putting myself first. I wasn't prioritizing myself. And it showed in my self-love. My self-love tank was at a 22%, and we've got to get that up. So how did I get that up? Before walking into a different room, I asked myself, what can I do for myself? Before doing something for Bryson, I asked myself, what can I do for myself? Even if it's as simple as taking a deep breath, the small shifts add up. It doesn't have to be some crazy thing. You don't have to spend any money to do it. Just ask yourself, what is one thing that I can do before going and doing something for somebody else? It's as simple as that. Number 3, the third thing I did to shift my energy is honor my burnt outness. Obviously, I was burnt out. I also had some dark forces on me, because when you, this is something I train in intuition, but when you feel like you just like wake up one day randomly and you're like, I fucking hate everything I'm doing. Like, what am I doing? Does it even matter? Does it even make a difference? Like, am I even helping people? Blah, 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 spiral, spiral, spiral. That means like that was not me, right? That was a dark force, like trying to win the day. And I let it for a minute. And then we had to flick it off, and now it's gone. But in that moment, that's what it was making me do. So I cleared the dark forces. And if you're interested in clearing dark forces, then come join Awaken, because intuition training mastermind, because that's where we do all of that. And you'll learn all of that. I had to rest, and I had to take a social media detox, and I had to mute all of my people who I have trained intuition with, who also have intuitive businesses, because I was comparing myself to them. And Comparison is my least favorite fucking game. It is my least favorite game, and I was playing the comparison game. It was kicking my ass, and I was losing. Okay, so I had to honor what felt the best for me, and intuitively, I knew I need to mute the people who are doing something similar to me so that I can stop being clouded by what they're doing. And I was just like so caught up in what they were doing and what they were making and what they were charging. And because of that, I completely forgot about my value, my own value. And what happens when you don't see the value in what you bring to the table? Others won't see it either. So that's not fucking good. Right? If I'm not seeing my own value and that's written in my creator field, then that's what's broadcasting from my creator field. And it's handing out a script to you guys like, I don't value myself. I don't value the work that I'm doing right now. I'm not thinking that it's enough. If that's written in my creator field, then that's what you guys are going to think, either consciously or subconsciously. And that's why you're not going to hit the buy button. That's why you're not going to schedule a session with me, etc. Right? So what did I have to do? I had to get really clear on why working with me is the best of the best, why I'm incredibly amazing at what I do, what makes me unique and special, what makes my courses unique and special, what transformations I'm able to provide for you guys, how I help others. Like I had to really get down and like start a note in my phone. This is, as you guys know, my favorite neuroscience hack. I started this note, I titled it, What is so special about working with me? What sets me apart? And I started to write a little note every single day to myself about why I'm special and unique and what's special about working with me. So that is an ongoing thing that I am now programming into my creator field so that we can shift that and I can see the value, and that can be the script that's handed out to you guys as opposed to what was going out to you guys before, which was no bueno. No bueno. I love creating content. And that's when you really know that I'm burnt out, is like if I just don't want to and I have no energy to, and it's just not good. It's no bueno. Like we don't want that, right? That's how I knew I was burnt out. I'm like, wow, like I have no desire to create content and like it's really hard for me right now. Like I can't even when I was like trying, it's like I couldn't. Like I could not. So I just completely stopped. I honored what my intuition was telling me was to just fucking take a break and relax and rest and journal and color. I colored with Bryson. It was so cute. We had like a little coloring date night and he got so into it. He bought this cute little coloring book and it has trucks in it. Each coloring page was like a different truck on a different background. It was like the cutest thing. He was so stoked on it. And he was like, it's so funny that you say that you want to, I've been wanting to color. And he's like, it's so funny that you're saying that you want to color now because I saw this coloring book the other day and I wanted to buy it, but then I didn't buy it because I was like, when am I going to color? And I was like, if that's not a sign that him and I need to have a color date night, then I don't know what is. I was like, okay, well, buy the coloring book and we'll color together. So he bought it. We colored together and we will have many more dates like that. And I also see this as a hobby. And if you guys don't know, having a hobby is like one of the number one magnetic things that you can have. And this year, I will, mark my words, get into country line dancing. Like, I want to get into line dancing so bad. Like, I want to get really good at it. Okay. It's on my vision board. And I do want to get back. I do want to get really good at it. I have so much fun when I practice and I just want to do it. I want to try it out. I want to see how I like it. And if you guys are in Ventura County and you know of like a good country line dancing situation where they teach you how to do all the cute little dances, please let me know. And if you want to go with me, let's go. I digress. We colored. So coloring is also a hobby. It doesn't have to be some crazy thing, right? Like just pick up something new that isn't work, right? It expands your life, like you're not just waking up, going to work, coming home, eating dinner, going to bed, waking up, going to work, coming home. You know what I'm saying? Like let's add some spice. Pick up a hobby. It's going to make you more magnetic. It's who doesn't want to be more magnetic? So, and it could be as simple as coloring. It could be it really heals the inner child, okay? But I also asked my higher self for signs, right? And this is a fun little way that you guys can use your intuition. I basically have been asking, like, am I on the right path? Do I keep going? And if I am, please send me signs. And I got a few people who reached out to me basically like, where have you been? What, like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, I'm burnt out and I need a break. And they were like, I totally understand, like, honor that. And I did. But it was amazing to know that people were reaching out because they're like, well, where'd Mikaela go? I really love learning from you. I love your content. I love what you do. And so that was a reassuring thing for me. And yeah, that was very nice. So just know that when you guys reach out to me and like let me know how I've helped you, it really lights a fire under my ass to keep going. And it really means a lot. So what else? Is there anything else? I mean, I spent a lot of quality time with Bryson because it rained a lot this past couple of weeks. So that was nice because he was like home with me and we got to spend a lot of quality time together. And you guys, he's been so good. Like I got so like I'm so grateful for him. He's just been supportive during this time and hasn't put a whole lot of pressure on me. And we've had some really great conversations. And he's just so supportive in whatever I want to do. He's like, if you want to like get a normal job, then go do that. But like, if you like, I know, I just want you to be happy, and like, he's just like really, wants me to be happy, which obviously I want to be happy also. But I think about it and I'm like, if I go get a normal job, like I'm not going to be happy. Like doing what I'm doing now makes me happy. It makes me so happy. I love helping you guys. I love doing what I'm doing. I love creating the podcast episodes for you. I love creating content. I just had a little moment, okay? I just had a little stressy and depressing moment, and your girl's fine now. She's pulled herself out of it. I've pulled myself out of the hole. And I mean, I'm not surprised. It's something that I've done so many times. But if you have been feeling the way that I was feeling like the last couple of weeks before this one, then please use the tools that I just gave you in this podcast episode. Know that you're not alone. Definitely not alone. There's something going on with the moon and the stars. Like the day that we had the full moon in Leo, I completely felt the shift in energy. Like I don't know a whole lot about astrology. I don't know a whole lot about the moon and the stars and the cosmos, but I do know that I felt that shift. And it was automatically, I went from self deprecation to what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm good at what I'm doing. I need to keep going. I love what I'm doing. I love my clients. I love the people who I work with. I love the people I help. And if I give up, like, what if I give up? What if? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to live with that for the rest of my life. What if I gave up, what if I kept going? What would my life look? How would my life be different? And I have this just full body knowing in my body that I'm going to grow, like my business is going to grow in such an unimaginable way. And I know that what I desire for myself, my life, this business, my clients, the people I help, I know that there is just so much goodness that's going to come from me continuing to do what I'm doing. I know that ultimately this is going to be a lot more lucrative than anything else that I personally ever do. It might not be the same for you, but this is just my personal story, my journey, what I'm just talking off the top of my head. I'm just sharing how I'm feeling. I always want to keep it real with you guys. I always want to be transparent. I don't want you guys to think that my life is perfect because I'm a human and I still go through shit too. And I just want you to know that you're not alone if you're going through shit. And yeah, I want you to know that I'm with you. I love you guys so much. I'm so appreciative of you guys for being here. If you resonate with this episode, please DM me on Instagram. Like, let me know that you're here, you hear me, that I helped in some way. Maybe you take what you learned from this episode and you apply it to your own life and kind of like sit there and reflect on what's going on in your life and how you can take charge and how you can shift it. Check out the show notes below. Check out Aligned AF. You can get on the wait list for Awaken if you're interested in learning more about dark forces. But like I said, I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful that I pulled my head out of my ass, and I will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Love ya. Bye.